The last pay-per-view of the new generation era.
The last pay-per-view with Vince McMahon as a member of the broadcasting team.
And the debut of a future WWE Hall of Famer, with WWE bringing back Bad Blood as a PLE next weekend with another classic Hell in a Cell matchup. We wanted to take you back to the very first Hell in a Cell with The Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels at Bad Blood 97. If it wasn't for this match with these two men, this style would never have been as important as it still is 27 years later. I'm Johnny Bake Show. He's Teddy Mongoose, and it's time to call it in the ring. In 1997, the WWF was clawing its way back into the war with WCW, and one of the many ways that they did this was the creation of Hell in a Cell. And even though Big Blue was freshly in the rear view, the WWF was still using the big, thick bars for the steel cage matches. This creation was the most diabolical structure for its time. It meant the end of a feud. Two men enter, one exits, and they're both never the same again.
Yeah, the idea for this match was truly no way in and no way out. Shawn Michaels at this time has his fingers in all sorts of pies, beginning with his blood feud with Bret Hart. The Undertaker gets pulled into the mix, and with a series of weapon shots and some DX run-ins, a standard singles match wasn't going to be enough. The Undertaker also has a full plate, as Paul Bearer had let everybody know the Undertaker has a secret and that his brother would be coming for revenge.
So before we get started, please drop your comments below on your favorite Hell in a Cell match. We'd love to hear from you and connect with you. And if you've made it this far, subscribe to the channel. We'd really appreciate it.
Yeah, the intro package, man, when we get to this pay-per-view, it's peak Shawn. They show the chair shots right at the top of the show, and those chair shots were here to remind us that it's 1997. Where you just seeing dudes get walloped in the face over and over again. And they start the entire show with there's no Helmsley, there's no China, there's no insurance policy. And I got mongoose bumps, brother.
It was so good. They did such a good job of selling you this entire story the whole way through, especially like as you're getting into the show. Oh, so good.
Yes. Yeah, it's total big match main event feel. And the crazy thing is that it's for Bret's championship, and Bret's in a second to main tag match,
Right.
Against the Patriot and Vader, I believe it was. Fascinating times, man. Just fascinating times here. Fun fact for anybody, Bret wrestled the Patriot in the title match in that Ground Zero show. So if you want to go see some Del Wilkes, hit it up. But before this match starts, I do need to mention that we have a Gang Rules promo, which the Gang Rules stuff is just chef's kiss. Tell me you have it. You have the God's Chillin' and with the Gang's Rules on the back and all that stuff.
Yep, wore it last week. Such a great shirt.
And shout out to you, Matt Botvin. I'm repping right here today. But the cool thing with this is that after the promo, they say out loud, you get a free WWF dog tag if you mail in your proof of purchase for buying the pay-per-view. And those got to be somewhere out there in the Bay or Mercari or whatever, dude. What a cool thing that would be. It can't be worth anything, but God, would I have that on display somewhere.
Oh, absolutely. I would totally have it on display if I had one.
What I wanted to note here is the sight of seeing the first Hell in a Cell dropping is surreal. It really is. Like, these people have no idea what they're in for. And in retrospective, it's a really cool thing to see. They don't know what's coming, and that big thing's just slowly coming down.
Yeah, and this is in your time frame. I'm like a slight generation behind. I'm a ruthless aggression guy, and growing up, the Cell was my favorite match. I could not wait until they did a Cell match, and just seeing how they displayed it for the first time, it just made it feel so big and so dangerous. And like these two were not walking out.
Right. So we fast forward to Doc Hendricks, my man, interviewing just the greatest version of Shawn.
Oh yeah.
This gear with him having that over the shoulder, just sort of the single wrap around.
Mhm.
Uh, what a great look and what a better figure.
Oh, it's such a
That Oh, it's incredible, brother. It is. And Shawn says that he's tougher than nails. Get it? That had to be a rib, right?
it had to be.
You don't say you're tougher than nails when you're about to fight the Undertaker.
Absolutely.
Um, and that he's the man and he's the main event and he's the showstopper. And man, did I pop because they go, the microphone's there. Triple H goes to talk into it, and we just cut right away from him.
All right, with that in mind, ladies and gentlemen.
I was watching that and I exploded because like just having the 2020 like force, just everything that we know now, and he's the head of creative and he's literally cut off at his first word. It just and then
The hardest inhale, dude. He's going,
All right, with that in mind, ladies and gentlemen.
and we just cut right away from him.
had 2 minutes of promo and they literally ripped it right out from under him.
I loved it, man. I did. So we get this incredible promo package again right before the match starts. And then out comes Sarge. He's going to check under the ring. And dude, he would have been more wise with how this finishes to check for Ouija boards or other things that could open portals to hell, because there was a lot more danger being conjured up around a circle of candles or whatever than there was underneath the ring at this time.
Right. I thought that was so excellent. Like I was loving the fact that he had the worst flashlight you could possibly imagine. Like that thing had the biggest D cell batteries in them that were just outputting nothing, and he's just shining. He's just winging it under there, just flinging it all around. And there's, it was so good,
No way he saw it beyond 6 inches under the under the apron.
dude. There's no way you could not bend down that far. Those khakis were screaming.
So we get to the entrance for Shawn, and what a stable, man. Just every time I see these four together, it's awesome. It is awesome.
Yeah, the original DX is legit awesome.
And there's a chick that she's just dancing so hard after the pyro hits, and she's in the upper left-hand corner of the hard cam to Shawn's music. And brother, she's such a vibe because they're walking out, and by the time they even get to the ring, Sexy Boy's on its second loop because he took that long to get down there. And she's here to party and see a man die.
Yeah, Triple H was just hanging out there on the entranceway, just by himself for what felt like forever.
I did love, speaking of Triple H, though, that him trying to sneak in one more high five as that cell lowers. That's us. That's what we'd be doing. We'd be in full gimmick, ready to try to get one more out there, just together forever. And I thought that was an awesome touch, man. And then the lights come down and Shawn's selling it. And then Hunter and Shawn both really selling the whole, like, this is a bad idea. Like it's coming. You can see it on their faces. And they both did such a wonderful job at that. I thought I was dying and I thought it was awesome. I thought it was hilarious and really well done.
Yes, I felt the same way. They were selling this like there was literally no way in and no way out for Shawn. And just the way that they were interacting with each other, like this was really, really good. And it made me feel like Shawn was in literal danger, especially the way that like Taker stalked him around the ringside area. And I thought that was really smart by them too, to like walk around the ringside area to like really give you the lay of the land of like how much room they had, what they could really do, and like just really show off like how big of a structure this thing was. I thought that was so smart.
And think about that. Like it's on purpose.
Yeah.
And you pointing that out is an excellent point, man. We've never had this match before. Let's show the crowd in the audience and the pay-per-view audience what our playground is. Like that was a really, really nice touch, brother. So the first bump of this match, full speed, rope running Shawn, he gets a boot and he sells it like he was just shot in the face, man. And right away, it's go time.
Right. And Shawn just displayed why he's one of the greatest to ever do it because he sold this entire match. Like he did not stop from the time the bell rang till the pin. He sold his ass off.
So it's insane that he was actually like looked down on for the better part of this decade by other people for how he sold, for how he flopped around and everything. And I just think that this is the greatest way to get the guy you're working with over. This isn't SummerSlam '05 selling for Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
He's selling like crazy, but he's selling for a monster. And Taker looks like a monster.
Yes, thank you. If you didn't say it, I was going to say it. He's literally selling for a demonic monster. Like it was perfect. It just made you feel like Undertaker was just so powerful and he had all these dark forces and magic or whatever and like he was using it on Shawn.
Or just superhuman, man.
Right.
Like, you know, even if you want to take like the spooky stuff out, he just seemed like it seemed like Shawn bit off more than he can chew.
Right.
And it was time for comeuppance. And that was an excellent start to the match. And it's the only way it really should have started, being honest.
And to even tie into the weird Undertaker stuff too, whenever I don't know if this was planned, but as soon as Taker throws Shawn out and he takes that bump to the floor, there's a black rose laying there right as Shawn looks down. I don't know if that was planted or not, but that just felt way creepy. And I got the heebies after that one. I did not like that.
Yeah. And this Taker domination, be it with this harbinger of destruction that you had seen on the floor, I don't know. But with the start of this, man, it's really great because first he's finally getting his hands on Shawn, this little pipsqueak nerd that cost him the title, that blasted him with a chair, that interfered with his matches. He finally gets a chance to get his hands on him. And then Vince and JR immediately, though, while Shawn's a bumping machine all over the place, are getting over on commentary. Shawn's the most resilient man in the World Wrestling Federation. You can never count him out. All this stuff. I thought that this was excellent storytelling.
Yeah, just the overall storytelling that they did here, I thought was excellent. It was like the actual perfect storm of incredible performers, incredible commentary, and then incredible creative on top of that. Like the way that Taker picked Shawn up and just choked him on the side of the cell. Shawn like tries to climb the cell to get away, and Taker is Irish whipping Shawn into the cell mesh, and just all of it. It was just a great use of all of the surroundings too. They really did a good job showcasing this entire structure.
Yeah, absolutely. And Michaels at this point in time, you just noted all the bumps. He's taken brutal bumps to the floor here. And then he just gets ragdolled into the cage and then the lariats. And he does all of this with his tights halfway down, which I thought was absolutely incredible.
Yes. Yeah. I thought that was hilarious because they're just down majority of the beginning of that match, and he finally does get him pulled up. But you're right, he's bumping all over. He's literally bumping on concrete with a gym floor mat, basically. Like you might as well not have anything there. You're right, it's so funny the visual.
But here's the cool thing about that is if I was getting beat down, I wouldn't care if my pants were falling down or not. And that was sort of what I took from it.
Right.
Was he, you know, how many times did we watch, like, you know, Chris Jericho before he got into the beach body plan or whatever it was, you know, stop to pull your pants up 7,000 times. And it sort of takes away from the match. Shawn letting him down and just still continue to get his head kicked in, I thought was a really awesome layer. And he's really taking a pound in here a few minutes into the match. And then what I loved was he tries to cut Taker off. You think, okay, he's going to get it. And then he just eats a mega lariat, man. And it's time for more punishment.
Yeah. And talk about lariats from hell. Like they were brutal. And when Michaels finally does make it back into the ring, and then he was slingshotted by Taker. And then from the apron, Shawn was now finally able to utilize the cell because he had been eating all of it, but he's able to launch Taker into the cell walls from the apron, and then he's able to tope to the outside into the cell again.
So JR bringing up that Shawn Michaels had faced and beaten Diesel and Sid in the past here is awesome.
Mhm.
Bigger guys, same kind of frame, but Shawn was able to use his speed, his athleticism, his endurance, all these other things, and locked in the cell, man. There's nowhere to go. We can't be taking powders, and this guy wants to kill you. And I thought that was excellent. Really did. His comeback when he finally started one of just wildly throwing haymakers, because like, what else are you going to do? Like,
Yeah.
you're getting beat on. So why not wildly just throw punches as a means to try to get out of it? Chef's kiss, brother. I thought it was awesome.
Yes. And Shawn climbed the cell to do the elbow drop. And before he like, did he spit on people in the crowd? Like, I know like early in the match, like they were yelling at him, but I could have swore he spit through the cell onto people in the crowd because they were yelling.
This is the same man that stopped in the middle of the entranceway and pantomime fellatio, started kicking Vader in the head a year prior. So that is not out of the realm of possibility.
That is true. And then after you spit on somebody, you follow that up with a near disaster by nearly dropping Taker on his head with that pile driver on the stairs. And like, I can't imagine picking up Undertaker, like as big as a human as he is. Like, I can't imagine. I would have done the same thing. I probably would have dropped him on his head, but like they got really close there. It looked pretty bad for a second.
Well, and on that second attempt, the dead man really bent those knees to help lift him up, man, because he didn't want to die the true death here in the cell. He came in the dead man, but he didn't want to go into the netherworld forever. And that was because he absolutely, dude, he bent those knees and he popped off that ground so that Shawn could get him up to rest him softly. But that pile driver is immediately followed by Shawn cussing at the cameraman, which at first I thought was a tantrum again, but it ends up being an incredible layer.
Yes.
Like, cameramen are getting away. It was such a good little deal. Like, I thought tantrum.
Yes.
And then a couple minutes later, I was like, oh, I see what they did there.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I thought. I thought the same thing. I was like, oh my God, he's actually like really pissed off at this guy. And then all of a sudden, it's like, that's the angle. And
Yep.
Shawn grabs his trusty chair that he used from SummerSlam and he just wails it across the dead man's back multiple times. Oh, they look so stiff.
Yeah, getting the chair is great, but Vince screaming,
That's what started it all in the first place.
was even better. Like, just getting it all over that this whole match, we are here because of a chair shot. And then bringing that back into the match was really well done. And Michaels, after he hits him, dude, he threw that chair into the cell with the power of a dozen hurricanes, man. And then God bless the actual camera people not involved in the angle here that might have been hit by the shrapnel or the chair itself. I mean, he just whipped that thing with no regard for human life.
It's a good thing that that cell was constructed the way that it was because he threw it so hard. I thought that he would have thrown it through the mesh. That's how hard he threw that thing. Like, he
It was.
heated that thing.
Yes, sir.
So when Taker fired back, there was a great response from the crowd, but he got locked into the ropes. An ever elusive Undertaker move here in 97, just dipping your arms down and getting caught in those ropes. And you can't.
Smooth operator, brother.
He's so good at it. And then he was finally at Shawn's mercy, but not for long as Taker was able to boot Shawn in the face. I thought that was a nice little wrinkle because you might be hung up with your ropes, but you still have your legs to use. And
and his legs are 9 feet long.
yeah, that also
You know what I'm saying? Like, an easy cutoff there.
right. And he lays out the cameraman, and this is where we thought that it was a tantrum, but that was just the way to get them to raise the cell up and have interference. And I just thought that this was just so good, but it was also really funny at the same time. I don't know why I was laughing at just the way that the cameraman just laid there, just so dead. I thought it was so funny.
Yeah. So at first, when the spot happens where Shawn hits the cameraman, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, Shawn's going to kill this guy for real.
Right.
Like, he's going to go off the deep end here. And then I looked down and saw the size of the cameraman, these mega arms, like total worker. And I thought, well, thank God he's a plant. And did that. It's all part of the show, folks. And then immediately the first thing that came to my mind was, we make movies. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought that was just really, really good. But while he was down, brother, it's just to know now that this is how the door is going to open up. Right. Like this, he's down and now the writing's on the wall and it all makes sense. All of it makes sense so far.
Yes. So Shawn went to the top rope to drop the elbow while Commissioner Slaughter came to the ring and demanded that the cage be open to get the cameraman out.
So as he does this, JR is burying the Macho Man here. He goes,
I've never seen anybody in the WWF do that.
Ever. I was like, oh, well, eat it, Macho. You take your wins over Diamond Dallas Page because Shawn Michaels does a better elbow drop than you.
Oh, my. And so Earl does open the door and Slaughter enters as Shawn tunes up the band. Shawn hits the sweet chin music and Taker sits up immediately. And scared Michaels sees the door open. He rushes to it. Taker pushes him through the door and they fight out to the ramp.
Yeah. And so it's here when they go outside. Shawn hits a drop kick and we're about to see one of the most majestic blade jobs in the history of pro wrestling. Yes. So Shawn is in catapult position. And as he's down and his head's on the ground, in his hand, he has the gimmick. And if you go in slow-mo, you can see it. And as he is being just lifted up off the floor, he goes ear to ear with this thing, man. And it's all one motion. And he goes right into the cage. And oh my gosh, dude, he's bleeding a gusher. That Solange chick from America's Got Talent that does those quick changes, she got nothing on HBK with the blade, brother, because this is magic. Like it's I hate to say that about a guy cutting his head open, but it's done so well.
I didn't even pick that up. That's such a good pickup by you because I did not see that. And I can't wait to go back and watch it again because that is such a great pickup.
I made Mrs. Mongoose watch this before in slow-mo because I'm like, look, he goes ear to ear here.
So after Taker catapults Shawn onto the outside of the cell, Shawn's busted wide open, like we said. Taker then long darts Shawn repeatedly into the mesh of this unforgiving cage, but Shawn low blows Taker.
Yeah, and that lawn dart spot is brutal. Dude, we're in 1997. There's no TLC yet. There's no cinder blocks and syringes in the mouth and all kinds of wild things. Like, this is carnage. This is next level brutality here. And again, you have the greatest ever to selling. And I know that Ric Flair exists. And I know that he has white hair. And I know that it looks great whenever it's red. But dude, I feel like Shawn's the greatest bleeder of all time.
He is a really good bleeder. And
especially in big matches.
Oh yeah, especially in big matches. And Shawn, seeing no way out, climbs the cage and Taker follows him.
Yeah, them getting over him, trying to just run away, and we'll do whatever it takes, even climbing up to the top of this structure, I thought was great because we have seen many a cell match since, where it is very contrived that we're going to get to the top of the cage, right? In some way, shape, or form, we're going to get to the top of the cage. And here we got to the top of the cage because Shawn was scared to death. And I thought, again, that this was an excellent little piece of storytelling here. And as these guys are climbing, this crowd is unglued. They are going insane.
And it only gets louder because Taker backdrops on the top of the cell. And we have this insane visual as Taker rakes Shawn's face across the mesh from above. And the cameraman is standing in the ring. And Shawn's blood is dripping off the cage onto the lens of the camera. Oh, what a chef's kiss.
Yeah, I hope that cameraman had some antibiotics, man. just eating Shawn blood in 1997 probably wasn't healthy for you.
And then Taker power bombs and the crowd is just getting louder and louder as they do more stuff on the cage.
Dude, when he's holding Michaels above his head before he does that one press slam. The crowd is literally Hulk Hogan making his comeback in Hulkamania loud. Like it is an explosion.
Yes. And the way that Shawn, whenever he takes that bump, he immediately grabs the mesh because he thought that it was gonna break. He was legit. Everyone was legit scared up there for
Oh
real.
yeah, what could have been, right?
Right. And what later was.
It's true.
So Shawn tries to climb down, and we get the huge spot of the match of Shawn falling off the side of the cage onto the announce table. The crowd is erupting, and JR is screaming, "He's broken in half." And Taker then yeets Shawn onto the Spanish announce table right after that.
Yeah, and Shawn at least got down to the rail.
Yeah.
But dude, the bump's still insane. And the way that they did it was smart because he's trying to now get off.
Yeah.
Taker stomps his hands out. And then when he hits that table and they show the camera shot of him just sort of starting to get up, the pool of blood on the ground is just something else. And Taker just nice and easy getting off the cell.
Yeah.
Like and that won't be the first, like you just said, dude. It won't be the last time.
And so a bloody Shawn eventually crawls back into the cell and then back into the ring.
And dude, he looks like he's covered in costume blood here. Like
Yeah.
he's Art the Clown. He literally, like he's honking the horn. He just cut a woman in half. It's nuts.
It really is. And Taker hits a clothesline and a choke slam on Shawn off the top rope. He seeks revenge for grabbing the chair under the ring, and then he wallops HBK over the head with it.
Yeah, how insane is it that a choke slam from the top rope just seems absolutely tame after everything that we just saw outside? I thought that was wild. And dude, he destroyed Shawn with that chair.
Oh, he just brutalized him with that chair. That had to be a receipt for something.
Probably one of the many shots that Shawn had given him in the build to this.
You're probably right. And then Taker signals for the throat slash, and the lights go out. The organ starts blaring. Fire erupts from the entranceway.
That's gotta be Kane!
Oh my God. Wait a minute. It's Paul Bear. It's Paul Bear. And that's gotta be Kane. Mongoose bumps for the second time tonight, man. So good.
Yeah, this was legit terrifying. Kane in that mask, in that suit, was mortifying. Like Taker's face said it all. He couldn't believe that his brother Kane was standing across from him. And like when you look back at it, just Kane is even taller than Undertaker. Shoot here. Like that is crazy.
Right. And the important thing here was Taker's selling being scared.
Yeah.
And it was absolutely everything that the moment needed. And him standing there with his facials looking like he just saw a ghost was awesome.
Oh, it was so good.
It was awesome.
And in the way that Kane just yanked that door right off the hinges, it was so good. Like we said, the face-to-face stare down with the red light beaming on them both, I thought was an incredible touch.
Yeah, R.I.P. Bray though. Love me some Bray, but man, did they kill the red light with that? Because seeing it here, I was like, oh, this is so cool. And then 20-something years later, it's not. It was terrible.
It was. And Kane lifts his arms. The pyro goes off around the ring. Kane picking up Taker like a feather. And the best part about this is that Kane forgot where the hard cam was, so he just starts panicking for like 3 seconds, and he just starts spinning around because he doesn't know what to do with it.
Oh, dude, I laughed so hard at him looking for the hard cam, and I'm like, dude, he's trying to find the hard cam, and then the funniest part is he finds it, he plants him, and they never changed the shot anyways. It was just Buddy down on the floor, so it didn't even matter, dude. Just pick him up and drop him. The best part was that he gave him the solid crotch kick right to his dead man parts right before he picked him up to give him the tombstone. And I thought that was incredible, man.
Yeah, so Kane then leaves the cell, and a just bloodied Shawn is crawling over to Taker. He throws the arm over him. He pins and Taker wins, and this was an incredible debut for not only a new character but this new match type.
Yeah, Hebner to count this out with the most Hebner slow count ever, you know, just and then yeah, and I loved it, man, because it was all needed. That just the drama of maybe Taker might,
Yeah.
and he didn't. And the crazy thing with this is these guys being the Undertaker and Kane, do not wrestle for half a year after this.
That is insane.
Could you imagine anything like that in 2024? That world doesn't exist.
No, you debut somebody, you get him in a match right away.
Right. Right. And I guess it's a symptom of having, many more TV shows and everything else. But the fact that we waited until WrestleMania, and this show's in October, early October, 1997, and they're not going to lock up actually until Mania 14 is crazy.
It's crazy that they didn't even do anything like with them face to facing at Rumble or anything like that either.
I guess it's a little bit reminiscent of what Triple H said that he wanted with Batista.
Yeah.
Don't even let me touch. Keep
Yeah.
him away from me.
Mhm.
Smart stuff. All right, brother. So we watched ourselves a classic. What's your grade?
This is the opposite of last week with the Kennel from Hell. This is getting 2 thumbs up because this was a classic, and the fact that it wasn't even a championship match tells you all that you need to know about this match. This is a certified banger match.
Yeah, I'm not even going 2. I'm going Goro from Mortal Kombat, and I'm giving it 4. All right. If I had 4 hands, I'd put them all up for this one. This is just, it's so good. The build, the actual in-ring storytelling, what we saw was brutal, but didn't make me want to scream. Do you know what I'm saying? It was just good old fashioned pro wrestling violence. And dude, we finished this. Helmsley's out with China. Rude's holding the ropes. Shawn's getting drug out, and he's going to be facing Brett from Montreal in the Survivor Series. What a match! What a scene! All of it, man. This was excellent.
Yes, this is one of the certified greatest matches of all time. We encourage everyone now to go watch this. Get ready for Bad Blood next weekend because it's going to be another awesome match. I can't wait to see it. Go back and watch this one because this one is great. So let us know in the comments, is this your favorite Hell in a Cell match, or is this even your favorite Shawn and Undertaker match of all time? Let us know in the comments. We love to hear from you. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel. We got a lot more great wrestling content coming up for you here on Call It in the Ring. And I'm Johnny Bake Show.
I'm Teddy Mongoose.
And we just called it in the ring.